Check one.
Check.
Okay.
I get me.
Okay, we'll try this again. Okay, we're starting like this. This is how we're starting.
I'm acting crazy. No, she don't fuck. She won't cut when I'm.
Here we go.
I'm already ready. I'm recording this.
5, 4.
When you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I consider that the start of the show.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very fun stuff has been happening today. Very fun stuff.
I know, it's been a crazy day.
Very fun stuff. This is there was enough stuff back when I went over to get my life sucked away 4 hours ago. I didn't even see it in parking lots. I saw all of this Musk stuff where Musk and Trump and Musk's 5-year-old are doing a press conference.
I love this.
From the Oval Office, and it was a great talk about Doge and all the work.
By the way, side note.
Now is a perfect time for a side note. Yes, go right ahead.
Is the reason he has his kid with him all the time some kind of weird custody dispute?
Yeah, it is. The provision with the third wife, Zelexia, was that he would get the
No,
he would get Provo one
I don't think
in
Grimes
Unital.
wants him to have X all the time, but I think he has X all the time because, like, to keep anybody else from having him. I think they have like a beef over it. Anyway. I don't think Musk and Grimes get along, but...
Is that really?
Well, whatever. Anyway, go ahead with your press conference.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to pull over for before we begin the lift-off of the show?
It's just unusual that people have their 5-year-olds in Oval Office press conferences.
The custody arrangement is amicable and
just
going fine.
wondering-
And the
I'm
little
just
Zaxxon,
wondering why
Zaxxon 4 is great.
he has his 5-year-old with him everywhere.
That's my key takeaway from the Oval Office address today. Definitely. Okay. It was a great showing in the Oval Office. But before I get to that, I want to get to a couple of things. That's the big news item today. I want to get to a couple of other things, and it's just about human beings and the way people act. And this is more, and when you're dealing with the Trump presidency, you have to go through this. This is more about the emotional and psychological ride that some people are on. So here's Jessica Tarlov, her podcast with God, whatever, and listen to this account.
But on a more personal level, I talked about 2 or 3 months ago to a college student from the Midwest. He reached out, he watches The Five, is thinking about a career in politics, really interested in political communication. We got on the phone. And he emailed me last week, and he said that I could share this. I've really appreciated hearing what you have had to say the past week on The Five and your podcasts with Scott. So, yay, Scott. You've really opened my mind on certain things that are currently going on as someone who voted for Trump. And you have been communicating a lot of frustrations I've been feeling alongside some family and friends who didn't expect all the chaos. And then he puts in parentheses, not to mention the tariffs, as our family owns a small business where all our products are made in China. So this is a 20-year-old bro, right, from the middle of the country, comes from a conservative family. They love Trump. And it only took I got this a week ago.
Typical middle American
So
20-year-old Trump-loving bro.
This level of chaos.
Okay, so obviously this is her emotional, desperate attempt to say, don't take my word for it. Mm-hmm. Take this Midwest Trump-loving bro who of all the conservative family, who of all the people in national media he could become pen pals with, chose me, the one communist on Fox News, to talk to.
Right.
But he's absolutely a dyed-in-the-wool conservative. Mm-hmm. He's been listening to what she said, and yeah, all the chaos. If this person exists, he's doing it to get validation that he's being a good convert, that he's becoming a good apostate by Jessica Tarlov.
Right.
But here's the other thing. There is a chance that there are certain 20-year-olds out there who have no political convictions, no real strong set of values, etc., but it's her who works there, Montante, F off, who are hearing from their friends in psycho towns like this town and other towns. Wow, my mom said that what Trump is doing is tearing at our democracy. My mom saw that Chris Murphy said that we no longer live in a democratic republic because that it's possible that there is a low-hanging fruit Trump supporter out there who's hearing all this. But mostly it's impossible because there's no 20-year-old bro with a pickup truck who's doing anything but giving the double middle finger to these people panicking.
Well, yeah, because anybody who says all this chaos is 1,000 times more dialed into political media than a normal human being in America in 2025. Anybody who says all this chaos has watched way too much news lately, right? Splash says in the chat, all this fabricated chaos, media nonsense, and political overreactions. Exactly. There's no chaos
right now?
in anybody's day-to-day life. There's no chaos in anybody's day-to-day life and existence. All the chaos is all imagined in the political media, and you see it amongst the Brian Stelters and the politicos. They're all freaking out because all the chaos, right? They're all freaking out because of all this stuff that they're saying is happening, and they can't cover all the news because there's too much happening. Heaven forbid the president actually do stuff, right? And this was like one of my favorite takeaways from the Elon Musk Trump stuff is they were like, this isn't being transparent. This is being more than transparent. This is being super transparent. You guys have more access to everything that's going on in this White House, in Doge, in all these government departments than you've ever freaking had, ever. Julian Felsay in the chat, chaos is called undoing all the BS the Biden administration put in place and correcting years of political crime. Exactly. Discovering that there's a bunch of people collecting Social Security with zero corroborating information, that's chaos to you? I mean, I guess so. I mean, the other point, too, that Michael Ben raises in the chat is he says, I demand a refund for the last 15 minutes. Exactly. It hasn't been long enough. Nobody serious expects Trump to have done anything that affects anything real in the real world at this point in time. Other than like start a war, there's very little that the president can do that has a totally immediate impact, right? So it's just a question of, you know, who's reading too much news. And I guarantee you that that person who's writing to her is either a person who's just faking it for attention, like a troll who's making up this whole caricature of a Trump voter who regrets their vote. And she believes it because confirmation bias, or they never really were like a big Trump supporter to start with. They just kind of like went with the flow. I don't know, but it's belied by all the polling that's out there, including from very left-wing polling firms, saying that people like what Trump is doing.
Over
they feel
70%.
it's what
and here's
Trump
the other
promised
thing.
to do,
Yes.
and they like it.
Well, here's this is the situation that's happening. Is that Trump is doing the things that he said he was going to do, including tariff talk, which, by the way, he's been talking about for more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
He is doing tariff talk. He talked about Doge. We've got plenty of sound on that. Months and almost a year ago, the Doge was coming. They were going to audit things. They were going to find waste, fraud, and abuse, etc. He has been his suggestion that they were going to turn Gaza into a Riviera has sparked real conversations. Now it has countries thinking in real thought leaders thinking on all sides of the issue. Israel loves the guy. It's Trump is doing precisely what Trump said he would do. If you're seeing chaos, then you're seeing the reaction to Trump, which means all of your inputs are MSNBC, Jessica Tarlov, Chris Murphy. Those are the people you're hoping that they'll be calm for you, but they're not, because they're emotionally scarred by this guy too, so they're saying chaos. In fact, it's not. What's chaos is a guy in your face saying, it's not going to be like Saigon, it's not going to be like Saigon, and a bunch of Afghans falling out of the wheel well of airplanes taking off from the U.S. in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Now, that is chaos. And it's
also precisely like Saigon.
Well, exactly. Of course it is. Well, he said it was a success. And then they get some little clown freak in the White House press room to tell you that it was a historic airlift out. That's chaos. Learn
Right.
to know when you're captured by chaos. To have the Homeland Security guy tell you that nobody was whipped. Haitians were not whipped at the border. Then he gets on the plane. Then Biden says they were whipping Haitians at the border just like Jim Crow. And then Mayorkas gets off the plane and says, I looked again and there was whipping. As a matter of fact, there was. And we're going to do it. That's chaos. Shutting down the energy sector for 2.5 years. So the gas goes through the roof. That is chaos. Opening up
Right.
the southern border is chaos. Everything that ensued from the southern border with all the fentanyl, all the drug trafficking, all the human trafficking, all the murders, all the rapes, that is chaos. Sky-high prices due to inflation because a psychotic, imbecile vegetable was the president who was pressured by progressives, into sticking it to you. That's chaos. For them to tell you that gas prices, hey, too bad. If you had an electric car, you wouldn't have to worry about this. That's chaos. For them to use the
But
EV
by the way, you
mandates
can't buy the only good electric cars.
to say that we're going to phase out freaking carbon gas burning cars. Meanwhile, there's not enough EV cars and nobody wants the things. That's chaos. We just got done with chaos. But the people that they go to as their touchstones weren't panicking. We're saying everything was fine. Stop it. If you go to Joy Reid for your emotional validation, well, then, yeah, you're going to assume that the last 4 years was fantastic. And right now we're dealing with...
It is funny, though. Like, I have a friend who posted on Facebook about being afraid to fly right now.
Why? Did Trump executive order ban
Because there's
gravity?
planes falling from the sky because Trump has made flying unsafe.
Oh, right. It's not... What an easy worldview that would be.
Where did she put this? Wait, I need to find this. My parents are... She's friggin' 40 and she's still coordinating trips with her parents because that's where we are.
She's perpetually unemployed, not shockingly. On
I
a
think she's on disability.
battery of psychotropic drugs, not shockingly, goes to a bleep load of Comic-Con. The Comic-Con's the least shocking thing about this.
Okay. My parents are flying to Grenada at 10 a.m. We're supposed to fly there on March 1st, and we have a flight on Monday. I've never been an anxious flyer, but I'm terrified of it right now. Doing anything feels like drinking raw milk right now. First of all, drinking raw milk is not really that dangerous. I promise you, I live in a town where people drink raw milk all the time, and they're fine.
It's just a masterful metaphor.
But yes, getting in a
Right.
plane feels like drinking raw milk because Trump has now dismantled the entire federal government, the FAA, all the air traffic controllers. Everything's gone. It's the Wild West.
They're falling out of the sky. By the way, speaking of things in the sky, allowing a Chinese spy balloon to fly across the country, zigzag over nuclear facilities, that's not chaos. But that's after denying that it was Chinese balloon, and that's before then admitting that it's a Chinese balloon, but it's not going to be taking any pictures before it took all the pictures, and you couldn't shoot it down. And then it got to the Atlantic Ocean after it was out of film and power and RAM, and then you shot it down, and then you shot down anything else that was floating around over the mainland. That's not chaos at all.
Of course. So, I mean, and I'm not sure exactly. Biden would love to talk about the situation he inherited when he came into the White House. I'm not sure exactly what the amount of time is that presidents have before things start being their fault.
Sure.
Right? But I tend to think it's at least a few months, not like 2.5 weeks.
Well, sure. But
I don't think Trump could have. I don't think he caused the air traffic
and here's
control
another thing:
situation.
psychotic, weird brown-toothed judges striking down Trump's executive orders, saying he has to put up the LGBTQ stuff on websites again, giving him that order.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that judge is chaos. These judges are psycho boomers.
I saw
psychos. And those orders aren't things judges are supposed to be like, who the fuck are you? Dude.
Right.
Get back in your freaking hole. Get out of here.
But I remember seeing this stuff, like there was this I don't know, some kind of like space scientist chick posting on Blue Sky complaining that she got taken down from the United States website about women in space or whatever stupid thing she was on, and like how Trump was erasing women from science or something. Like It's not just the boomers. I hate to say it, but we can't blame all the boomers on
No,
this
it's Gen X too, and there is a certain
and millennials and Gen Z of all these
there is
people
a
who are
thing.
like, but women in
Progressives
science.
have this thing, and it's a dangerous thing, and it's especially since COVID, where they're going to rock solid default defend the status quo in the establishment, no matter what, and they're going to have the well actually thing going. The moment you have a problem with the establishment whatsoever, USAID, well, actually, they do a lot of good. Yeah, we need that. We need the part that does the condoms. We need the part that does the AIDS. We need the part that just hands out money to Hezbollah. Actually, we need the one that gives money to UNRWA, who then works with Hamas. Actually, that their establishment, we have to. And it's this thing where you're never to question. It comes from media people.
Right.
Never to question. And also, like we're Americans. We see that we've given this money to UNRWA, the USAID, who then uses it to kill a bunch of Jews. And we say, that doesn't seem right. And they say, well, actually, there's a lot of good work that happens with USAID. They're crucial in that part of the world. And it's the same way where we see, and you don't need the media to tell you this, you know as human beings, where you see a borderline, I'm not going to use the R word, person do a halftime show for 20 minutes who specialty is supposed to be his
verbal antics.
Right. Who is illiterate, who can't speak, who's a dumb person, a very short person with a tiny brain. Now, if this is all an act, and what I saw was just an act of somebody lampooning an illiterate, stupid rapper, then you got me. You got me because I believed it. I believed he was that stupid. I couldn't believe. I've never seen, and even in the rap community, which is, rap is not a skill. Rap is what you do in lieu of having skills. It's street beat poetry for the really illiterate and stupid. It's so bad that the beat poets and poetry slam people can laugh at the rappers because the poetry slam people don't invent new words so that they can rhyme. You know, rappers create new words and new
who's
slang
more of a
and
genius?
Slang all the time just so they can pretend something rhymes. So they're not even doing that much work. They're bending the language towards them. Like Eminem did this thing where he was with Anderson Cooper and Eminem was like, yeah, find me a word that you want me to rhyme. And Anderson Cooper's like, orange. And and Eminem was like, yeah, and I rub you in the floor and you knew that was it. So something like so I rubbed you in the floor and you knew that was it. So that rhymes with orange. I rubbed you in the floor and you knew that was it. And Anderson Cooper said, wow. And I was like, really? Okay, yeah, wow. What an R. Like, what an adaptation that this guy who really, that is not, you can also just try to rhyme like the world does without bending the language into Stupidville to do it. But these rappers are the biggest idiots in the world. By the way, I'm not trying to be racist whatsoever because it's white rappers and black rappers, but the hip hop idiots, Ariana Grande, anybody who slept with Pete Davidson. This is
I don't know if Ariana Grande is really hip hop.
No,
She's
whatever
more of
she
a
doesn't
pop-
matter. She's an idiot. Doesn't matter. These people are in a photo finish for really stupid Americans. So when I see this guy who I only heard stuff about, like this, what's his name, Lamar Jackson,
Kendrick Lamar,
right? Who I'd only heard about, who I assumed, like I saw Pitbull like 6 years ago did some kind of concert somewhere. And I thought, now that's not a bad grift. He steals the greatest like pop 80s rock riff from Take On Me and makes it his own about partying by sampling. I thought, oh, there you go. That's a good old-fashioned grift. That is a stolen car, but at least it's a grift. And I thought that that's probably what Kendrick Lamar does. Like that stuff. No, he does straight-on stupid raps. And so I endured this thing like everybody else did in the halftime show thinking, this is the worst advertisement for the genre of rap music that there could ever be, because this is just a person doing his rhymes at his top level. And he's obviously a low-functioning human, and we're all saying, yeah, he has beef with Drake. So, yeah, Okay, fine. So in comes now, it's been a couple of days. The left can't condemn him. So I have seen countless numbers of social media TikToks, etc., explaining to me that actually,
The deep symbolism.
actually, I missed why it was so good. In fact, it was not
He
only
said 40 acres and a mule. Didn't
not
you
only
hear
was
him?
it for you know what, and the revolution will be televised, but we got the wrong main character. It's powerful, heavy. That is heavy stuff. As if, by the way, that Gen Z invented pseudo-intellectuals. But anyway, so they're coming out right now and telling me all the stuff I missed. One, that the dance formation was originally done on a Game Boy console. And Samuel L. Jackson said, "Let the games begin." And all this irony that I missed, all this stuff. So what they're trying to tell me is, in lieu of the fact that the performance was Kevin Federline level awful, there was important stuff happening in the background. And this performance with lights in front of people wasn't supposed to be absorbed as a literal performance. No. This is fourth level metadata messaging happening here, which is pretty damn disgraceful and the last vestige of a scoundrel. To a person, everybody I've seen defending this thing as brilliant, and I missed it, are white women of all different ages. Not surprisingly, the Boston area's most famous, not overly intellectually strong defender of all things establishment, Sue O'Connell.
Oh, she's a big Kendrick Lamar fan, I assume.
She's going to explain to you, Alice, what you missed, by the way. No, you didn't see an idiot rhyming in bell bottoms needlessly with untalented dancers behind. That's not, no.
You probably didn't even notice they were an American flag.
You didn't know, but also, like, the fact that it wasn't entertaining, joke's on you. Joke's on you. Something more powerful was happening.
A lot of political meanings in Kendrick's Super Bowl show that I noticed. So I'm going to urge you to go back and watch his performance while thinking about American history and politics. Consider...
Can I just watch the halftime show? I never had to think about American history and politics when Prince was on stage. He was doing music and songs and creating and doing a performance. When
he was challenging the gender binary.
When U2 was on, they just made U2 music and had 9/11 stuff happening. You know, like when Michael Jackson was on, he did Michael Jackson stuff, a performance. So never before now have I needed to go back and put on a special lens.
Actor Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. Who or what does this version of Uncle Sam remind you of? And has Samuel L. Jackson ever played a role like this before?
Make me do a lot of work for 20 minutes at halftime for a football game. Mostly the show sucked, Sue. So can you address any of that?
Or is he representing, as some have suggested, how black artists get policed in mainstream spaces? And
I see. So it was entertaining. Because we're doing how black artists get mainstream policed, Alice, in mainstream spaces. Oh, that was happening. Not just a bunch of incompetent, untalented R's jumping around.
And you can consider the stage. If you think of the mass incarceration of black Americans, what does the movement on the dancers on the stage represent to you?
Talentless, overpaid losers? What does mass incarceration? Wait, doesn't this guy do songs? Isn't his work product on Spotify? This is supposed to be an audio. I'm hearing an audio, right?
Traditionally, yes, the Super Bowl halftime show is performed by musicians, yes.
And then consider the color scheme of red, white, and blue. Does it cause you to consider who can be patriotic or who the American flag belongs to? And when that flag split in half, what do you think Kendrick Lamar was saying? Consider the American workforce, too, from the 1600s through the 1800s. Who built America?
Why do I have to go back and do this book report? Just have the rapper, just have the performer jump around and be entertaining. That's his job. My job is to not put aside the historic train wreck that was his performance and parse through and look at the historic significance. My job is not to have weird progressive pseudo-feminists point me to look in spot symbolism where there should be entertainment.
By the way, did you notice that this year there were a lot of news stories being recycled through various, I assume like the AP or somebody had it and then it got recycled through everywhere about how the artists who do the Super Bowl halftime show don't really make any money on it?
No.
There was a lot of that, like in the advance leading up to the performance. Like, how much will Kendrick Lamar make from doing the Super Bowl halftime show? It turns out artists don't actually make any money from the Super Bowl halftime show. So I feel like that was like done in advance
because
to
they'd seen
play
him
into the narrative.
they'd seen
of
him
like,
rehearse and they're like, that's really it? Okay, roll the stories about how nobody gets paid.
And what did it mean when those dancers bent over while we heard 40 acres and a mule, which is one of the many broken promises at the end of slavery? Now, you may say, I don't want politics at my Super Sunday halftime show. And I would ask, then why do we sing the national anthem?
And you would be a low IQ person. Why do we sing the national anthem? Well, I wonder why we sing the national anthem. Maybe because it's the theme song for the country.
And we're all getting together
Don't
as a
sing a
country and
political
watching
song.
this sporting event.
It's a political song. Why do we sing the national anthem?
It's only a political song if you're somehow anti-America.
Well, right.
Why do we have a military flyover? Why do we have the presentation of arms?
We have a military flyover because jets are awesome. And it rouses the crowd, and it makes people feel patriotic. It's a good to see the Jets are good. People,
Jets are awesome. America's awesome. Football's awesome.
right? And
Like,
why do we?
just
Why
all
do we
are
have
enjoying the moment together?
Why do we have scantily clad cheerleaders? It's not political. It's because hot chicks are awesome, and you pack them in.
Because it's America, and we love to have our sports and our history and our art. And what Kendrick Lamar did was just deliver a very patriotic, historical, and entertaining Super Bowl show.
Good luck, women. Good luck, middle-aged suburban white women.
Well, in all
That's
fairness,
not what he did.
in all fairness,
As a
she
matter of
doesn't
fact-
really know if a hip hop show is entertaining or not.
Well, no.
I mean, like, how many hip hop shows has she been to know whether that was
I
a good
am sure
one?
she's been to a lot. I'm sure that she makes sure that if her pilot on a plane was named Muhammad Ali, she's like trending and a tweet that the frig out. Absolutely. But the great thing is like, why did I just get a 3-minute long soliloquy on? As a matter of fact, it was good. The thing is, it's a 40 acres and a mule, and mass incarceration of blacks and black representation through a screen. That's all fine, and that's good when I take my DEI class, or I have to go through HR training. That's fine, but to make HR training the halftime show is not good. Nobody wants that. The halftime show is for somebody who is, quote, in their own way, whatever, talent to be talented or to do something that's entertaining for the masses. And if we've got to retroactively say, in fact, you were entertained.
You really liked that.
It's freaking amazing. And I've seen so much of it. It's, here's the thing, Sue. Sometimes people just suck at things. Okay? Sometimes people have a suck night. I guarantee you, Tom Shattuck goes out and gives that performance. You are not going to hear about the subtext of any of it. Absolutely not. I'm going to get panned. When Miss South Carolina 15 years ago gave that ranting speech, whatever, nobody had felt like they need to offer her subtext because she was a hot white blonde chick. Like, just stop it. Stop it. And by the way, maybe much like we're like lying to women about being better at flag football, maybe you can also like afford black people the same review that you'd give them if you were white, like an honest one. Just because somebody's black doesn't mean that you have to pretend that all sorts of subliminal, hefty intellectual things were happening. It's like, but they never will. No, it's not. That was really good. I'd see it again if I could. I want it again for next year. Went back and watched it. Oh, okay. Let's get to Elon Musk.
Yeah, let's get to Elon Musk. He was in the Oval Office today.
He was just absolutely fantastic. Here's some of it.
Everyone's very quiet, by the way. Are people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House. We won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
He went for more than a half an hour. Speaking of, by the way, the reporter should have actually iced the question, because obviously this is transparent.
Yeah, you're standing in the Oval Office getting to ask the people running the government anything you want. How can you possibly start off your questioning with how not transparent they are?
Right.
If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to
It's Trump sitting at the Resolute desk, Musk to his right, and Musk's son hovering next to the desk.
the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you asked the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it's not. It does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And then we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
I just want to get to one of the points that he brings up that's fine.
Can I just say one thing about his mannerisms and stuff? Is I like that he's awkward.
Yeah.
He is literally, as advertised, like a geek.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that.
And I mean, he is the type of person, he could never be elected on his own as he's too weird and awkward.
Here's something that
he can't be natural like Trump can be natural. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. Here's something I really, really like.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about $30 million,
right,
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where do they come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, we just
do that all day and night, and do it to the House and Senate as well, and take down hundreds of these people. I'm absolutely for it. Absolutely for it. Just one more part. Here we go. Here's one more hit.
There's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. That's a case where, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous. One of the two.
So there you go. That kind of thing. He talked about a salt mine where all of the. Actually, I should probably play this because it is a huge takeaway, and it's unbelievable. Listen to this.
One of the things is we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this, obviously there need to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, let's, if people can retire, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And what do you mean a mine? There's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to, boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way.
Now, I just love the idea that a mine shaft is like a big symbolic thing happening here. Mm-hmm. And now that facility, it's in Pennsylvania. I did watch a thing on it. It is a state-of-the-art, a lot of it's state-of-the-art mines, like a data center, et cetera, because it's way underground, under the bedrock, and et cetera, et cetera. And so it is naturally cool under there, so it's a nice, cool data center. But it is a mine. It's not quite a mine shaft with Indiana Jones riding the carts around.
Yeah, I was picturing it.
But it is an older facility. There's no doubt about that. But it's that kind of stuff.
Pneumatic tubing made out of limestone or something.
Do that stuff all day. We're going to. Last thing I just want to get to is Aluna Nomela Baluna.
Anna Paulina Luna,
who we like.
I'm surprised I even knew what you were
Anna Paulina Luna, who we like, is doing the declassification of JFK records. Mm-hmm. She talked today.
What's your priority list? Because Epstein, 9/11.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Yes, and if you want to hear in a weekly hour special on everything Rep. Anna Paulina Luna is going to be talking about, I suggest you listen to a show called Montante's World. because he will be all about First of all, he'll be all about her, and he'll be all about everything that they are talking about. 2 shooters, Alice. It's like you down
Grassy knoll?
It's like you down the bar room over weekend, right?
No,
Right?
not really. No.
All right. Should we get to the chat?
I think we should go to the chat. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Thought you were saying there was nothing on the chat. Like that was like a
That's a
cricket
3.
noise.
What does that say? Okay, here we go. I do like Jessica Tarlov, by the way. Kind of cute. Speaking of Alice, welcome back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Over. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Anything? Do we have a chat today?
Tom, I'm surprised you didn't add a story when you were talking about Kendrick Lamar yesterday.
Ugh.
I'm shocked that you didn't come up with a story about listening to NWA in the 80s and 90s and, how it impacted your life or how you impressed some girl. I mean, ever since that story you told about running away from the cops in Chinatown with the waiter and a hooker following you, I expected some sort of regalia of a story. I mean, I'm surprised that you just didn't mention anything. I'm floored.
It was brutal. Overnight, the dudes who would hang out at the end of my street, who were from Winchester, then they listened to awful music like Slaughter and Tesla and like awful music, heavy metal hair bands. Overnight, they all switched to NWA. And I was like, this.
I mean, I have to tell you, I don't really have the rap critic chops to tell you whether or not Kendrick Lamar is any good. I have no idea. But rap in general, I think, is very popular. There seem to be like a lot of radio stations in business that
it's popular,
play it.
but it's also
and,
rubbish.
When I worked overnights at Home Depot in New Hampshire, where it was predominantly white people, I would say, in New Hampshire, it was not like it was all rap, was everything people were playing. Like everyone likes rap. Like, so I mean, you don't clearly, but I was saying like it's very popular and not just within the Black community, obviously, or there's.
Well, it's fine. It's fine, but it's also just not music. It's fine. It's stuff done with a microphone. There's no doubt about that. It's just not music. I'm more of a music guy. Sometimes. I mean, there's never a time where I'm like.
There's rap songs where they play other people's music.
There's never a time where I'm like, I can't wait till the rap part comes. The rap part sucks and everything because it's a dumb person talking. It's usually a dumb person talking. I will tell you though that there have been times when where rap people have done hip hop music, and this is, I like Biz Markie in the late '80s. Do you know who he is?
No, but the chat was mentioning that you brought him up.
I love Biz Markie. Oh baby, you got what I need. You don't know that song?
Would you say he's just a friend?
Yes. I love that. I loved Young MC. I thought was awesome. He had a couple of hits. I didn't care about the only good thing about the NWA and the gangster rap guys is they were really shooting each other, so it was legit. But mostly it was mostly rubbish. Mostly rubbish. And it's still, Kendrick Lamar did the other day was just absolute rubbish. But no, Steve, I don't have any. Oh, all I have is that, and I've told you this before, is that we did, when I was doing the TDK challenge thing in 1991, we do it at concerts, and we were at the Me, Myself, and I. We were at the, who was that? De La Soul. We did the De La Soul concert at Northeastern, which was a rap concert, and the crowd urinated on us from above. Me and this other dude from above, and then tried to take
TLC.
And then tried to take our stuff.
That's adjacent.
Take our t-shirts, and we had to abandon our t-shirts because the throngs of mob of punks it became Benghazi really quick, and we had to take our TDK CD player out of there. And So that was fun. That left a good personal image with me.
You like TLC? That's not rap, but it's
No, yeah,
like
I like TLC.
adjacent.
I also like Salt and Pepper. I think that they had, and I guess, yeah, they were technically rap, but more like hip hop rap. But they also did things like they tried to make entertaining songs. No, they didn't. I didn't. The mass incarceration and subliminal deepness really wasn't there. The Salt and Pepper were trying to have sex with a guy with an Arnold body and a Denzel face, and they were explicit about it. They made that very clear, and that was understandable and relatable. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I have no good rap stories. And by the way, Steve, in none of my stories do I come out really looking great. I certainly don't end up having gotten laid. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Dale, dare you go after me? Absolute legit stories.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to tell you that after Alice had said that all she wanted for her birthday was for you to not yell at her for 5 minutes and just give her 5 minutes of peace. You then went on a 13-minute rant where you railed like a crazy person.
That is not true.
And she just, yes, honey, I understand. Yep. On Alice's birthday, Tom, you couldn't give her that. I know you had to rant about what you had to rant about, but for 5 minutes afterwards, maybe, that rant, I think you didn't get it. And actually, no, you were pretty upset. Well, happy birthday, Alice. I hope you had a great day.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. She had a third of an apple. It was great. Yeah.
Great. 'Cause, and then so then Tom's like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, could you just not yell at me for my birthday?
That is such bullshit. Not yell at you. You're the yeller at me in this. You're the destructive, vile witch in this relationship. Oh, but cute little Alice, I can't believe he's so mean to her. You have no idea what this thing is capable of. Oh my goodness.
And then you're like, no, really, what can I do for you? What can I take off your plate? How can I help you? And I was like, I literally just told you.
What a nice guy.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it's
what
I'll
a nice
just
guy.
live with it. But I'm just saying, if you're asking what you can do to take a load off
me. What do you mean yelling at you? What am I yelling at you for? Alice, stop working up in that room for too long. That doesn't happen. You are such a liar. Oh, propaganda. Bitch.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Steve from Gloucester.
No, hold on.
If you're going to attack me, let me make a couple of suggestions. One is get the quote correct. I believe the quote that I wrote in the chat last week was one guy not interested in women lecturing another guy not interested in women. And I stand by that quote.
There we go.
The other piece of advice I have is make sure the rest of your message after misquoting me is actually intelligible. I couldn't understand a goddamn thing that you were trying to say. I know it's difficult for you to make a subject and verb agree. And I know, like, for you personally, you mix up your pronouns a lot because you're struggling with that.
Oh, my goodness.
But you were mixing up he and she, and it just was a complete mess. So get better at it. Come on. As Ross Perot once said, work on it. And the other thing, too, is to attack the beautiful, luscious Mrs. Steve.
Did he do that? How would he know what?
Well, he said that she had called him and let him know. Remember the call?
Oh, right. Let him know that he was not good in the sack or something. Is that what the gist was?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't believe that was a literal call that happened.
I think probably not. I would.
And the terrible accusation of dryness. Let me tell you something, pal.
Uh-oh.
To quote Cardi B, bring a bucket and a mop for that wet-ass poo-ha. Hi-oh!
Dang.
She's never been dry in her life.
What is going on
wait a minute. There was one time.
I don't even know.
I remember we were together, and out of the blue, she was...
Here's the thing. Steve Merrimack will work as blue as you force him into it.
I guess so.
Like, oh my God, I feel completely dry. I'm like, what happened? She goes, I don't know, but I feel like I'm shriveling up inside. And I said, well, what do you think it is? She said, I don't know. What do you think it is? And then I realized we were having lunch in Gloucester. And like every other woman who gets within a 5-mile radius of you, she shriveled up. It was one and done, though. She's much better now that we avoid Gloucester. I love being attacked by a guy over sexual stuff. Being attacked by a guy who couldn't get laid in a morgue. Oh my God. Thank you.
157. My goodness. I don't know what any of that's supposed to mean.
I mean, the evidence just piles up more and more every day. This morning on the show, on the radio, Tom exclaims, very excitedly, by the way, I'm a cruise guy. Believe it was in reference to some cruise vacation contest, but we all know when he says that.
Oh, hold on. Tim. This is my live read for WTIC twice during every show. How would you like to win a trip for 4 on the Disney Destiny?
I would.
I would too. Winning's easy. Just download the Odyssey app. Yada. The fact is that I'm a cruise guy. I've believed in cruises.
You've worked on cruises?
I've worked on cruises. My mother took me and my brother on endless numbers of cruises. She was a travel agent. I am a cruise guy. Absolutely.
Cruise vacation contest, but we all know when he says that, it's really just code for his favorite movie from the 80s. You know the one, Tom, with Al Pacino.
What?
Cruising.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We know. Anyway, Alice, happy
No, I'm not a cruise guy since I cruise through the fens looking for fellas.
belated birthday.
Thanks, Tim.
I hope that Tom got you something very nice,
Yes,
especially
it did.
since...
I believe, what did you receive yesterday morning in a Wessel? It was white with a white top on it yesterday morning?
A Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
Correct. And 2 nutted doughs, which you did not like.
Yeah, because they were cream-filled donuts.
Yeah, but the promotion of the month. You love the promotion of the month.
Yeah, but have I ever eaten a Boston cream donut that you've ever seen me eat?
Have you ever eaten a Boston cream donut that I've ever seen you eat?
Have you ever literally observed me ordering or eating a Boston cream donut?
I don't.
When you order a dozen donuts
Alice,
and half of them are Boston cream, which one do I take?
I know that you're the royal princess and the world must notice you eating donuts, but I've been busy, okay? I haven't been logging like you log orgasms, the donut consumption of you. Wow, she's eating
Well, you yell at me when
jelly
I don't
donut
pick
today.
the
Interesting.
Boston cream.
Once again, there's no hash marks in front of Boston cream.
Well,
You are his favorite beard. And if not, I hope it at least didn't yell at you for a couple hours.
This is the biggest canard in the world that Al Shattuck put out there. Oh, he's yelling at her. I don't do the yelling. That thing does the yelling in the damage. Freaking Jesus. Something funny?
Hi, Steve from Merrimack. Tom, you are the last person on earth who should make fun of anyone's musical taste, you queen.
What?
Oh, it makes so much sense to me now, given the revelations of your sexual preferences recently, that your musical taste, like everything else, is in your ass.
What? Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Aidez-moi. 25.
Even though Steve, that is low. When you're going to your vinyl collection of Lamar Odom, what's the idiot's name? Kendrick Lamar. When you're going to talk about, as you talk about it, like with a date, and you like open it up and blow into it, and take out this vinyl, and you just say, I just feel that vinyl. Oh, I can imagine what a total douche you are on your dates. Before you found Mrs. Steve, with like your Merlot and like swishing it around and talking about how it has legs after blowing into your vinyl record and saying, I just feel it captures a certain warmth that digital won't do. Oh, Merrimack DB. Oh.
What's even worse, Tom,
Yes.
is non-Jeep people who have ducks on their dashboard.
Oh.
Those people should be incarcerated.
That is vicious. The whole ducks on the dashboard thing is just vicious.
When did ducks become a vending machine staple that there's all these rubber ducks everywhere?
I don't know, but I don't hate them. For what there could be, like you could have that emoji that's like the pile of shit, the emoji.
Right.
Like that I don't even need in the world. The ducks are like not bad.
The first time I observed there being a duck vending machine was at CPAC in 2015. In the basement by the pool, remember there were all vending machines.
Oh, that's
down there,
right.
and there was the claw machine with all the ducks. Then they were everywhere, but I don't remember that being a thing. Like when I was a kid, it wasn't a thing that there were rubber ducks everywhere.
It's funny. There's probably a really good story behind it, actually. That it has to do with Uyghurs, I assume.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you for the chat messages. Thank you for the fun in the chat.
Steve definitely went vinyl in '95 with his Pearl Jam collection. There's no way he didn't.
I've never been a vinyl person, but we got our daughter a record player, and it sounds nice.
It's
I like
generation.
it.
No, but when you're my generation, and you've had in Steve's generation, and you've had 8 tracks and cassettes and CDs, but then the purist in you comes alive, and you decide, I just want to capture it in vinyl again. You open the thing and blow into the thing and pull out the record. Oh, that is rough stuff. Oh, that's from his single day. It's got to be from his single days. If you had vinyl, then you were also probably had incense in the house, and I just feel it's very therapeutic for me. I just feel it's just something I do. Like
I like candles.
That doesn't mean. Oh God, you were so easy as a single chick. My goodness. I like candles. Oh, really? Hold on. Let me get my candles, my red wine with legs, and my vinyl collection here, and I am good to go.
Thank you so much for listening.
Don't yell at me. Okay.
Thank you for weighing in the chat and all that you do all the time. Appreciate you. If you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/burnbarrel.
C'est la vie.